Well, hello everyone. Today is Wednesday, January the 13th, and it's my pleasure to bring the most recent update for the city of Belleville as we deal with the COVID-19 virus outbreak. And today finds me down at Victoria Harbour. And for a couple of reasons, I'll get to some of the news and developments, but it's a great place to come and walk and get some exercise outdoors. It's also a place we have to be very careful about in the terms of the ice. And the ice has not been cold enough. Even though it's a little chilly for me today, it is not cold enough for our ice. And I'm asking you, I plead with you, I beg with you, whatever you want me to say, please don't go on the ice. Unfortunately, we had a fatality last weekend of someone who was out on the ice fishing, and it's just unnecessary. We don't need to see it, and I implore you, please don't go on the ice. We check it every day, and when it is safe to go on the ice, we will let people know. I know people love playing shinny down here and going out ice fishing and doing all those things. The city will let you know when it's safe. Please stay off the ice. Well, at the time of taping this video, it's before the daily release of information from the Hastings and Prince Edward Health Unit. But I can tell you that as of yesterday, we had only 23 active cases in our region. Yesterday, we had one new case. That's a total of 1 over 2 days, because the day before that, we had 0. So those are very good numbers, indication that we're working hard, we're trying to flatten that curve, and that hopefully people had behaved properly over the New Year's break. But yesterday, the provincial government announced a furthering of a second state of emergency, this time with stay-at-home orders, meaning that you cannot leave your home with the exception for essential services, and there's more information coming. You can see here on the page. It talks about traveling for work, for medical appointments, to get your groceries, a list of other things. They've asked us as society to try to work from home if possible, and I ask everyone just to respect this. I know it's disappointing for all of us, particularly in our region where we work so hard, but these rules and regulations that Premier Ford and the provincial government have brought in are required to be followed, and we will be enforcing them, and we will be complying with them as a city. No gatherings at home is part of the stay-at-home order as well, so you can't be having visitors come over and see you unless you are part of the same household. And I'll have some more information in a second about city facilities. What I do want to say is a big thank you to Todd Smith and Daryl Cramp. You know, we've been hearing about this good news about vaccines becoming available, and certainly this week vaccines were delivered to Kingston, to the Kingston General Health Science Facility, and they started being given out yesterday. Some people from Belleville have actually made the trip to there to get vaccines. As I said in the previous times, we're vaccinating first long-term care residents, long-term care employees, and other healthcare workers, and they were starting to get it. The concern we had is because this Pfizer vaccine has to be kept at such a cold temperature, the concern we had was we would be required to have people from Belleville go to Kingston to get that vaccine. And Daryl Cramp and Todd Smith have worked very, very hard along with other local area mayors, and we were able to get that vaccine. Will be brought here to our region, to our city, and will be distributed here, so people won't have to make that trip. So more information about that will come, but that's a big advantage for us. You know, again, having to ship long-term care residents and employees and other healthcare people to Kingston and have them come back would be really difficult. It would impact our ability to provide that vaccine. Having it here is a big deal, and we're certainly grateful for it. All right, so you know, we're outdoors, and the province is encouraging outdoor activities. It's different from the springtime where we weren't allowed to use city facilities, but they have limited. You cannot gather in more than groups of 5 outdoors. You can't gather it all indoors, but you can't gather in groups of 5 outdoors. So things like our rinks, the community rinks that are out there, our parks, when we are going to be able to go on the ice, toboggan hills, other city facilities. If you're out there walking and you bump into somebody you know, you are not to gather, and you're not to gather in more than 5 people that are not in the same household. Bylaw enforcement, police, Prince Edward Hastings health staff have the power now to disperse you, and they have the power to issue fines. So they will be doing it. I want to let everybody know that if you have complaints regarding people that are not complying with this, you can contact the City of Belleville. at 613-967-3204 for us to enforce the bylaw in our areas. You can also contact the police directly, and you can contact the Hastings and Prince Edward Health Unit. As I said, all of the city parks and outdoor facilities that would normally be open are permitted to stay open, and they are. But we also are closing some things. So we're closing, obviously, the City Hall. We've closed the Sports and Wellness Center, but we're maintaining our services. Some employees that are in certain areas are able to work from home, and so we're taking steps for that. Many of our employees, however, though, they're responsible for maintaining our roads, our parks, our sidewalks, all the different services that residents need. They are still working, and they still will be working through this. You are able to count on your City of Belleville services throughout this pandemic as well. Parking enforcement will remain in place. We have winter parking restrictions on streets in Belleville, as well as our paid parking areas. The warming center will continue to be opened. We did lower the temperatures this week at Belleville City Council. It used to be minus 15 Celsius in terms of temperature and minus 20 with the wind chill. We've dropped both those numbers to minus 10 with the temperature, minus 10 Celsius, and minus 15 with the wind chill. And so that facility will continue to operate with social gathering issues. And transit services will also continue in the city of Belleville. We are maintaining it. There's some great news. We've come to a contract renewal with all of our transit operators. They're part of the Unifor union and their collective agreement. We've just extended it for a year. They've understood the reality of today's fiscal climate for residents and businesses, and they've agreed with a 0% increase for this next year. In exchange, we've also committed there will be no layoffs for those members. So we really want to thank them for stepping up and helping us deal with this. And we appreciate the service that they'll be doing safely as we go through this next little while. Like I said, I know people are discouraged by the decision by the provincial government about this second state of emergency and the stay-at-home orders. But my understanding is that they were finding that over a third of Ontarians were not complying with the orders. And that's why we're seeing these significant cases coming up. There are record numbers of people now in hospital across Ontario, and there are record numbers of people that are getting the COVID virus. And so with the strain from Britain that is much more virulent, they're saying it's more than 50% more contagious. The province felt they needed to take some steps. Again, we've done such a good job here, and we've been doing a good job here. We're hoping that perhaps they will let us leave that restriction earlier if we continue our progress, but we're going to have to see how it goes over the next couple days. I just want to finish up on some City Council met virtually this week because of the provincial shutdown rules. A number of things happened at that meeting, including we're working on a new development charge bylaw. This is important for our city residents because if we don't collect development charges from new construction in the city of Belleville, that means taxpayers have to fund the bill for all the growth of the future. And that is really difficult because when people move to Belleville, it requires us to do everything from not only run services to their homes, water, sanitary services, but also it puts pressure on our roads, as I said, our intersection, all of our city services, and so we can deal with that. Every 5 years, we review our development charges by law. And a lot has changed in the last 5 years, and a lot is going to change over the next 5 years. And so we're trying to get this right. I want to thank the Quinte Home Builders Association and all the different organizations for working on it, and our city staff. We've made a decision to proceed with a 10% increase on those development charges now and review it over the next few months, and we expect to have a new 5-year bylaw in place in about 6 to 7 months from now. We also received $33,000 from the provincial government to help with our sanitizing of our transit fleet. So part of the whole issue with COVID is there's enhanced cleaning measures. The provincial government has given us the money. We appreciate getting it. We had to buy this week a new snowplow for the city. And these big trucks that go around and keep our streets clean during those winter events. It never ceases to amaze me how expensive that equipment is. One of these new snowplows is $317,000. And that's a big amount of money. Obviously, we have many of them, and we have to replace them to keep them current so we don't have to buy them all at one time. But we did that this week. Really good news, we signed another doctor, Dr. Kirsten Colbrand, who is now in Belleville doing her residency. She has agreed to be here and make a commitment for 5 years to practice as a doctor, and she starts in 2022 with the practice here. So we'll have another doctor here in Belleville. And on Monday, we also approved the contract for the Catherine Street footbridge. You know, we've talked about this in the past. That is a bridge that goes over the Moira River in our downtown sector, linking the east to the west side there. And because the bridge is actually in the Moira River, we required permission from federal fisheries and oceans to get that project done. It took a long time. But we've got that approval, and work will start this summer in July based on the times that they've allowed us to get into the water and do that work. So that is going ahead. And we also took the step, because we don't know what's going to be happening with COVID going forward. We took the step of doing what's called the delegation of authority. For some reason, council cannot meet because either we've got problems with our technology, or if there is illness preventing us from getting a quorum of members of council, we've delegated authority to the Chief Administrative Officer for the City of Belleville, Rod Bove, the Director of Finance, Carol Hines, and also the Director of Development Services, Steve Ashton, so that we can keep the business of the city moving on in spite of any challenges we may be having. So again, that's my update for this week. If there is more information, I will let people know. Please, please, please stay off the ice. It is not worth your life to go on the ice for any reason, and we will let you know when it is safe. Please use the outdoors. Please get some exercise. Remember to take care of yourself. Remember, mental health during these very difficult times is really, really important. Let's care about each other. Let's continue to look after each other. The one thing about Belleville that I've seen over the last 10 months is just how much we care about each other, and that's what makes us so strong. And I am very confident that we're going to deal with this latest challenge and continue making the progress that we want. You can count on the City of Belleville, and I know that we can count on you. Thank you.